All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
走下去看看有什么。Nothing here.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy.
这走廊有点长。
Something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself.
奇怪，为什么我好像觉得走过这里？
All of my coworkers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment.
我觉得有点怪怪的。
None of it made any logical sense.
1.25。
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
I have no feet.
Doors close automatically behind him wherever he went. And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to a boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Ooh.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job.
Oh, so you've got a wife. 你有妻子。
Exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
所以说他是疯了吗
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
？Mariella。
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man.
先叫着自言自语，然后昏死在街道旁的男人。
Screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew.
所以说我是疯了，那个 Stanley 疯了。
And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
结束了这个剧情，好有意义哦 ，meaningful。所以说，你怎么知道你自己没有疯呢？你怎么知道你自己没疯？好，最后应该是最后一个选项哦，我能想到的还有最后一个。很有道理，我刚刚讲的，就最后一个选项，我记得，就我所能想到的最后一个，因为我真的没有玩，我真的不知道太多的那个鬼挡，不是鬼挡墙啊，那是疯掉啊。
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
有没有幻影墙啊？我想说后面的门可不可以开？结果真的可以开。business 那个这叫什么？生意的方式，做生意的方式，这是什么 ？Go down。Stanley。这么久啊，多深啊？我回到原来的地方了。他刚说什么？波兰和什么兄弟国之间的历史关系的简短描述，还有这个叫监督委员会的建议书，不啦不啦不啦，这只是一台会震动的，这只是一台会震动的箱子而已啊，那不是电梯啊！我被骗了，我还在那边等。What the fuck？ 你看它根本就没有动过啊！ 哦，我怎么不知道有这个地方？因为啊，老板知道老板该干什么。老板要是亏大，那就活该。什么？哈哈。对，那不是电影，它很像做的很像震动，我被骗了。莫名其妙。
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah blah blah. Dark secrets. The keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons.
我都还没按呢。
Look, it's a new passageway. Kill Supremes.
What the? 他密码是多少？我忘了。我想知道他刚刚说的是，他说那句话，他直接帮我把门打开啊！我还没有那个。唉 ，Helly。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mind Control Facility. And press the button there.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Yeah.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
他这个结局就是，如果我完全照他的方式来做的话，这结局我已经看过，所以我要在最后一刻背叛他，就是最后一刻违背他。
His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over
No, I want to use this power.
He would dismantle the controls once.
What if I want to use this power? 如果我想要用这个力量怎么办？
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls.
I did.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that.
So what do you want?
I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment.
What
Here's
the?
a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
OK， 这是一个结局。ending， 然后游戏又重启。好啊，我讲我今天有这个史丹利的预言，我可能先玩到这。这游戏真的太好笑了，大家如果有兴趣的话，可以自己去来玩玩看，或者是你可以看一下我重播，因为我重播我忘记我有几个结局了。那我会再去查一下攻略，看还有没有其他的一些隐藏的一些结局我没发现的。那大家如果有兴趣的话，到时候我们最后再来玩。所以改天下一次我们再来玩这个游戏。那我今天的这个史丹利预言先到这，我要先休息个2-3分钟，然后等下会开台跟真白一起玩一个叫做私岛求生的游戏，大家如果有兴趣也可以过来看一下。好，那接下来的时间我会休息个2-3分钟，会关一下台。大家如果对私岛求生有兴趣的话，可以留步。好，那史丹利预言今天先这样。谢谢各位观看。